Chapter 17 concludes our discussion on contract law from our common law sources. Later we'll read about contract law from our statutory law, the Uniform Commercial Code. In the last chapter, we review the difference between a minor breach and a major breach. So what result is there if there is a major breach? The non-breaching party might sue for damages. But what are those damages? How do we calculate those? If you refer to the PowerPoint slide 3, you'll see it talks about compensatory damages, which are the typical damages in a breach of contract. If I order from you, as a greengrocer, $500 worth of lettuce for my restaurant on a Wednesday to be delivered on a Friday, but Thursday, before that Friday delivery, you inform me that your firm is unable to fulfill that order, not only is that then a breach for Friday's delivery, we call that an anticipatory breach or an anticipatory repudiation because of your notice before Friday on Thursday. So on Thursday, I, as a buyer, can consider that Friday delivery breached on that Thursday notice. I can go out and compensate for the loss that you created. So let's say that I find lettuce on Thursday, but the price is $700. I pay the $700, get my lettuce, and sue you for the difference of $200 to put the contract right, even though you breached it. Compensatory damages compensate me for my out-of-pocket losses and the difference in prices. You must still keep your obligations and pay me that difference. In other words, I get what you promised. And by the way, even though I am an innocent party, that is, I'm not the breaching party, you're the breaching party, it is my burden to mitigate losses. I cannot just sit and do nothing and sue you for the $700 or the $500. At this point, let's analyze this scenario from a financial or an economic point of view. It may be that it's cheaper for your firm to pay me the $200 rather than for you to fulfill your obligation by performing. Consider that your reason your firm is breaching could be due to labor shortages or supply shortages. It might cost you far more than $500 to hire the extra labor than pay the $200 in damages. In other words, it's cheaper for you to breach. Economists call this an efficient breach concept. Another damage in contract law is referred to as consequential damages. However, they are unique and not often found. They're not, in other words, in every case. They exist when the parties to a contract know there would be other losses than compensatory losses if indeed one party breached. Let's consider parties agree to build a strip mall. One party is a plumber, one is an electrician, and the other is a carpenter. And all they know they all know that in entering into a contract at the beginning of the build for the mall, that if one of them fails to perform, there won't be just compensatory damages, such as going out and finding a replacement plumber to finish the work. Rather, they won't be able to have the property ready to open for the stores in time. There will be no occupancy, since one party's breach will delay everyone else's work. So in this scenario, the parties are aware and agree there will be foreseeable losses as a consequence of one party's breach. Thus, a breaching party may be liable for those losses in addition to compensatory damages. For example, if the group has to hire a different plumber to complete the work, that extra loss would be grouped as compensatory losses. Yet if the delay causes a shortage of leases to rent the store space, that loss could be grouped as consequential losses. In other words, a consequential loss would be, hey, we have to go find new tenants as the prior lessees left due to the delay. Another damage in contract law is punitive damages. However, such damages are very rare in contract law. Very few times does a court need to punish a breaching party as a part of the damages. because really very few people use a contract to harm other people, but when they do, punitive damages would be merited. The last damage to discuss is nominal, and this one again bears some discussion. Look at the word name within the word nominal. Nominal, or in name only. If a party does breach but suffers no out-of-pocket losses or other losses, the winning party might be entitled to $1 damage in name only.